The night was quiet, but inside the small hospital room, the silence was heavy with sadness. A young boy lay on the bed, his tiny body weak, his legs still and lifeless. Machines around him beeped softly, like cold reminders of his broken body. The doctors had told the mother many times, "Your child will never walk again." She sat beside him, her hand holding his small fingers. Her eyes were tired, her face pale, but her heart was still strong. Every day she whispered stories to him. Every day she told him about running, about playing, about walking under the sun. But deep inside, a fear grew. What if those stories stayed only dreams? The mother remembered the day it all happened. He had been full of life once, a smiling child, always curious, always laughing. Then the accident came, so sudden, so cruel. After that, there was only silence, wheelchairs, and endless nights of tears. Doctors had tried everything. Surgery, medicines, therapy. Nothing worked. Each visit ended with the same cold words. There is no hope. And yet she refused to give up. She could not. He was her son, her light, the reason she breathed. Outside the hospital, people talked. Some said she was foolish. Some said she was chasing an impossible dream. But she ignored them. She sat by his bed every single day, waiting, praying, and wishing. The boy's eyes would often wander to the window. He would watch other children outside, running and laughing. His lips would curl into a soft smile, but his eyes betrayed the sadness within. He wanted to walk. He wanted to play. But he could not. The mother felt that pain like a knife. Each time she saw his longing gaze, her heart cracked. She told herself again and again, there must be a way. There must be someone who can help. And then, the whispers began. At first it was only a story, something she overheard in the hospital corridor. People talked about humans, not ordinary humans, but a group that had knowledge beyond science, beyond medicine. Some called them miracle workers, others called them dangerous. No one really knew the truth. She ignored it at first. It sounded like a rumor, like one more false hope. But then she heard it again, this time from a nurse. The nurse whispered, "They can do what doctors cannot. They can heal the broken. They can make the impossible possible." The mother's heart raced. Could this be real? Or was it only another cruel lie? She wanted to ask more, but the nurse only shook her head and walked away, as if afraid of being heard. That night the mother could not sleep. She sat by her son's bed, watching him breathe, listening to the machines. The thought would not leave her mind. What if it is true? What if they really can help? The boy stirred in his sleep, his lips moving slightly, as if dreaming. She leaned closer and heard him whisper, "Mama, I want to walk." Tears filled her eyes. Her chest tightened. She had heard these words before, but tonight they felt heavier, sharper, as if the universe itself was pushing her toward a choice. She pressed her lips against his forehead and whispered back, "One day, my son, one day you will." But even as she said it, doubt and fear twisted inside her. She knew doctors had failed. She knew science had failed. And yet, the whispers of these strange humans haunted her. Who were they? Why did they hide? Could they really do what no one else could? The clock ticked slowly. The hospital lights flickered. Outside, the wind carried a strange, restless sound, almost like a whisper calling her name. The mother closed her eyes, but her mind was awake, racing, restless. She did not know it yet, but her life and her child's life was about to change forever, because somewhere in the shadows of the world, the humans were watching. And soon, they would come. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks stretched into long, heavy months. The hospital became the boy's world, white walls, cold floors, and the endless sound of machines. For other children, the world was full of playgrounds, sunlight, and laughter. For him it was only silence and stillness. The mother carried hope like a flame in her chest, but each passing day tried to blow it out. Doctors visited often, speaking in calm, professional voices. We have done all we can. His condition will not change, please, and accept the truth, but she never accepted. She nodded politely, but in her heart she screamed. She would not give up. She could not. Every morning she wiped his face, brushed his hair, and read him stories. Stories of heroes, of people who never gave up, of miracles that came when all hope was lost. She wanted him to believe. She wanted him to see the world through hope, not despair. Still, there were nights when she broke. Nights when she locked herself in the bathroom, pressed her fist against her lips, and cried so silently that no one could hear. Nights when she whispered, "Why him? Why my child?" People around her did not understand. Some relatives told her to move on, to accept the wheelchair. Friends slowly stopped visiting. Even the doctors began to avoid her eyes. To them, she was the mother who refused to face reality. But in her heart, reality was not fixed. Reality could change. Then, something strange happened. One evening, as she was leaving the hospital cafeteria, a man stopped her. He was tall, his face calm but serious, his eyes sharp as if they carried secrets. He spoke softly, almost like a warning. "You are looking for hope. I know where to find it. But the path is dangerous." Before she could ask, he slipped a small piece of paper into her hand and walked away. She unfolded it quickly. On it was only a name written in neat letters and a symbol she did not recognize. Her hands trembled. Who was this man? Why did he know her pain? And what did that symbol mean? That night, she couldn't sleep. The paper lay on the table beside her. She stared at it again and again, her mind torn between fear and desperation. She thought of her son's weak body, of his eyes that longed for freedom, of his whisper, "Mama, I want to walk." The next day, she tried to ask the nurses if they had seen the man. They shook their heads. No one knew him. It was as if he had appeared from nowhere, only to vanish again. Her struggle deepened. Now she carried not only the weight of her son's condition, but also the mystery of the secret message. Should she follow it? Should she trust it? At night, while her son slept, she sat by the window, staring at the dark sky. Her thoughts raced. If this is real, if these humans can do something, can I risk it? But what if it's a trap? What if I lose him forever? The world outside felt distant, but she could feel something moving in the air, as if fate itself was shifting, calling her toward an unknown path. One evening, she gathered courage and whispered to her son, "If I found a way, would you be brave enough to take it?" His eyes, tired but full of quiet strength, met hers. Slowly, he nodded. "Yes, Mama, I will be brave." Her heart shook. That was all she needed. His courage was enough to push her forward. From that day, she began to search. She asked questions, carefully, quietly. Most people laughed or warned her to stay away. But some lowered their voices, looked around nervously, and said, "Don't ask too much. Those humans, they are not like us." Still, she kept going. Each answer brought more mystery, more whispers of miracles and danger. Some said they had seen broken people stand again. Others said they had seen lives destroyed by those same experiments. No one spoke with certainty. The struggle was no longer only against her son's paralysis. It was against fear, against doubt, against the unknown. Every step forward felt like walking deeper into a dark forest, where shadows whispered and paths twisted. But she could not stop. She would not stop. Because each time she thought of turning back, she saw her son's eyes, filled with silent hope. And that hope was stronger than her fear. The world saw a tired mother and a broken child. But inside her, a storm was rising. She was ready to face anything, even the impossible. And somewhere, far beyond her reach, the humans she had heard about were already watching. The struggle was only beginning. The mother stood at the edge of choice. In her hand was the small piece of paper with a name and a strange symbol. For days, she carried it everywhere, folded in her pocket, hidden in her purse, pressed in her palm when fear struck. At first, she thought of throwing it away, but something stopped her each time. The whispers she had heard, the man's strange warning, her son's brave nod. They all pushed her toward the unknown. Finally, one late evening, she dialed the number written beside the name. Her fingers trembled as she pressed each digit. For a long moment, there was only silence on the other end. Then a voice spoke, low, calm, and almost mechanical. You seek what others cannot give. Are you ready to walk a dangerous path? Her throat tightened. She wanted to speak, but words caught in her chest. She forced them out. I only want my son to walk again. The voice paused. Then it said, meet us tomorrow, midnight. Do not bring anyone. Do not speak of this. The line went dead. Her heart pounded. She looked at her son, asleep in his bed, and whispered, tomorrow, my love. Tomorrow something will change. The next night she walked through the empty hospital corridors. The world outside was dark, the streets quiet. She carried her son in her arms, his small head resting against her shoulder. Fear pressed on her chest with every step. At the corner of the street, a black vehicle waited. Its windows were tinted, its engine silent. A door opened without a sound, and a figure stepped out. They were human, but not ordinary. Their movements were smooth, their eyes sharp and glowing faintly in the shadows. They wore no uniform, no badge, but their presence was heavy, as if the air bent around them. One of them spoke, voice steady. You are the one who called. She nodded, clutching her son tighter. Can you help him? The figure looked at the boy, then back at her. Help has a price, are you ready? She swallowed hard. Fear screamed inside her, but hope was louder. Yes. They gestured toward the vehicle. Then come. The ride was silent. The mother stared at her son, brushing his hair with shaking fingers. The humans sat still, almost motionless, their eyes scanning the darkness outside as if watching things she could not see. At last, the vehicle stopped. They stepped into a hidden facility, an underground place filled with soft humming lights and strange machines. The air smelled of metal and energy. The mother's breath caught in her throat. She had never seen anything like it. Tables lined with glowing instruments, walls alive with shifting symbols, machines that pulsed like they were alive. One of the humans turned to her. Your child has been broken by accident, but we can rebuild, not with medicine, not with surgery, but with something greater. She looked at them in fear and wonder. What are you? The human's lips curved slightly, almost a smile. We are humanity, unbound by limits. They led her to a chamber where a bed of light waited. They lifted the boy gently, laying him down. His eyes opened, confused but calm. The machines around him began to hum, their lights pulsing faster, brighter. The mother's heart raced. Will it hurt him? She whispered. One of the humans shook their head. Pain is temporary. Change is forever. The chamber closed. A beam of energy washed over the boy, covering him in a soft glow. His body jerked once, then went still. The machines beeped, the lights danced. The mother pressed her hands together, praying, begging, pleading in silence. Her fear was a storm inside her chest. Minutes felt like hours. Then, the boy's fingers twitched. His chest rose sharply, his eyes widened. A soft gasp escaped his lips. The mother pressed against the glass, tears streaming down her face. My son, please. The humans watched silently. No fear, no emotion. They had seen this before. The boy's hand moved again. Then his toes. Then, slowly, his legs shifted under the light. The chamber opened with a hiss. The boy lay there, breathing, hard, his eyes wide with shock and wonder. The mother rushed forward, falling to her knees beside him. She grabbed his hand, sobbing. "Can you feel it? Can you move?" The boy swallowed, then whispered, "Mama." I felt my legs. Her heart exploded with joy and fear all at once. She looked up at the humans, desperate. "What is happening?" To him, they answered simply, "This is only the beginning." The boy lay inside the glowing chamber, his small body wrapped in waves of light. The machines around him hummed like a chorus of strange voices, each pulse sending ripples of energy through his broken nerves. The mother's heart hammered in her chest. She pressed her hands to the glass, watching every twitch, every breath. Her eyes burned with tears, but she dared not look away. At first, nothing seemed to change. His chest rose and fell. His eyes fluttered, then stilled. For one terrifying moment, she thought it had all failed. Fear crushed her, heavy and merciless. She whispered through the glass, "Please, not like this. Don't take him away from me." Then the smallest flicker appeared. His fingers twitched. Barely a movement, but real. Her breath caught. She leaned closer, hope flaring inside her. The humans remained calm, their glowing eyes fixed on the boy. One of them spoke softly, almost like a guide. "The body remembers what it has lost. We are reminding it." The boy's toes curled, his head tilted, his lips parted in a weak gasp. The machines around him flared brighter, feeding him energy, rewriting what had been broken. The mother covered her mouth, sobbing quietly. She wanted to rush in, to hold him, but the human stopped her with a hand. "Not yet. The change is delicate. Too soon and he may fall." Minutes stretched like hours. The boy's legs, still for so long, twitched again. Slowly, painfully, one knee bent. His muscles shook, unused for so long, but they moved. Her tears spilled freely now. She whispered again and again, "Yes. Yes, my love. You can do it." The boy's eyes opened wide. He looked around, confused, frightened. But then he saw her through the glass. His lips trembled into a weak smile. That smile broke her completely. He raised his hand, reaching toward her. For the first time since the accident, he moved with strength, not weakness. The chamber door hissed open. The glow faded, leaving the boy breathing hard, sweat on his skin. The mother ran to him, falling on her knees, wrapping him in her arms. He was shaking, his legs trembling beneath him. But they were alive. Not still, not broken. Alive. She pulled back, holding his face. "Can you feel them? Tell me, can you?" The boy's voice was faint but clear. "Mama, I feel my legs." She sobbed, pressing her forehead against his. Every word was a miracle. Every breath was hope reborn. But the humans did not celebrate. They stood silent, watching, their expressions unreadable. Finally, one of them spoke. "The body is repaired, but walking will not be simple. He must learn again, and there will be pain." The mother nodded quickly, desperate. "He will learn. I will help him. He will endure anything." The boy's legs trembled again. Slowly, with effort, he pushed himself up. The mother gasped, ready to catch him, but she stopped herself. She wanted to see, she needed to see. Step by step, the impossible began. His foot pressed against the ground, his knee straightened, his other leg followed, wobbling but real. The chamber was filled with the sound of his first attempt, weak breaths, trembling steps, the creak of muscles reborn. One step, then another. He stumbled, nearly falling, but his mother caught him, her arms strong around his fragile frame. She whispered, "I've got you. I'll never let you fall." Together they stood. Together they took another step. The humans watched quietly. One of them murmured, "This is what it means to be human. To rise again, even when the world says you cannot." The boy's eyes shone with tears. He looked at his mother, smiling through the pain. "I'm walking, Mama. I'm really walking." Her cry was loud, raw, filled with joy and sorrow all at once. She hugged him tight as if afraid he might vanish. Yes, my son. You're walking. You're walking. For years, doctors had said it was impossible. For years, hope had been buried, under despair, and yet in this secret place, against all reason, the impossible was happening. The mother turned to the humans, her face wet with tears. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you helped us. But you gave me back my son. I will never forget this. They only shook their heads, and we are not here for thanks. We are here to remind the world of what humans can do when they refuse to surrender. The boy stumbled again, but this time he caught himself. His small frame straightened, his eyes burning with determination. Step by step, the miracle grew, stronger, and in that moment the mother knew the world she once believed in was gone. A new world had begun. The boy stood trembling, his legs unsteady, his small body fighting against weakness and fear. But he was standing. After years of silence, after years of stillness, his body had remembered what it meant to rise. The mother held him close, her hands firm on his shoulders. Every breath she took was heavy with disbelief, yet every tear on her face was joy. She whispered, "You are walking, my love. You are really walking." The boy smiled through his shaking, his eyes wide with wonder. "Mama, I can feel the ground. I can feel my feet." For the mother, it was more than a miracle. It was the breaking of chains. For the boy, it was the first taste of freedom. But for the humans who stood silently in the shadows, it was something else. Proof of what humanity could become. One of them stepped forward, his voice calm but powerful. "This is not only about your son. This is about all of us. Humanity was never meant to accept limits. Where others see impossible, we see a challenge." The mother turned to them, her voice shaking. "Why us? Why my child? Why help at all?" The human's glowing eyes softened. "Because your love refused to surrender, because hope is stronger than fear, and because your child is a symbol of what must come next." The words struck her heart. She looked at her son, standing taller now, taking another trembling step, then another. Each movement was clumsy, each step fragile, but each one was a victory carved from despair. The humans watched with a quiet pride, though their faces carried no smiles. They were not saviors seeking gratitude. They were reminders of something larger, something deeper. The mother fell to her knees, overwhelmed. "I don't know how to thank you. I don't even know who you are." The leader of the group stepped closer, kneeling so his eyes met hers. "We are not gods. We are not angels. We are human, just like you. But we chose not to be trapped by fear, by rules, by what others call impossible. That is what makes us different." Her tears blurred her vision. Then why hide? Why not help the world openly? The human's voice lowered. "Because the world is not ready. Some will call us heroes. Others will call us monsters, but one day humanity will understand. Until then, we choose carefully. We give hope where it can grow." The boy reached for his mother again, his voice full of awe. "Mama, I want to walk outside. I want to run under the sun." Her chest ached with love. She hugged him, whispering, "You will, my son. You will." The humans began to leave, their presence fading into the shadows of the strange facility. Before disappearing, one of them looked back and said, "Remember this night. Remember that nothing is beyond your reach. Humans can break any chain if they refuse to bow to despair." Then, they were gone. The mother carried her son out into the night. The air was cool, the sky vast and full of stars. The boy clung to her at first, his legs still weak, but then with courage he stood again on his own. He took one step on the open ground, then another. The earth beneath his feet was real, solid, alive. The wind brushed his face, and for the first time in years he laughed, a sound so pure that it echoed into the night. The mother covered her mouth, tears streaming freely. That laugh was worth every struggle, every sleepless night, every whisper of doubt she had endured. She remembered the words of the humans. Impossible is only a word. The boy looked up at the stars and whispered softly, almost to himself, Mama, do you think I can run one day? Her heart swelled. She knelt beside him, brushing his hair gently. Yes, my son. One day you will run, and when you do, the whole world will know what it means to be human. Together, they walked forward into the night. Each step was slow, fragile, but it carried the weight of something greater. A story that would live beyond them. Because in that moment, the impossible had been broken. Because in that moment, humanity had proven itself once again. And in the silence of the night, the universe seemed to whisper back, humans are special. The boy's laughter echoed in the night, soft but bright like a star breaking through darkness. For the mother, it was the sound of freedom. For the boy, it was the sound of life returning. But miracles do not go unnoticed. Unseen eyes were watching. Cameras hidden in street corners, satellites high above, and people who listened to whispers just as she once had. The world did not yet know what had happened in the underground chamber, but soon questions would rise. The mother felt it first. A chill in the air, a sense that they were not alone. As she held her son's hand, helping him take more steps, she felt the weight of invisible eyes pressing down on them. The boy did not notice. He was lost in wonder, gazing at the stars, feeling the earth beneath his feet for the first time in years. Each step was clumsy, painful, but filled with joy. Mama, I'm walking. Look at me. She smiled through her tears. I see, my love. I see everything. But inside, her heart trembled. She remembered the warning of the humans. The world is not ready. Some will call us heroes. Others will call us monsters. Now she understood. If people saw what had been done, they would not only marvel, they would question. They would fear. The next day, when they returned to the hospital, the doctors froze in disbelief. Nurses dropped their papers, mouths hanging open. The boy who had been called hopeless now walked, slowly, shaking, but walking. The chief doctor stammered, This is impossible. We said his spinal cord was beyond repair. The mother only held her son's hand tighter. Impossible is only a word. The hospital filled with whispers. Some staff celebrated, calling it a miracle. Others looked uneasy, their eyes sharp with suspicion. How had it happened? What had she done? Within hours, reporters appeared outside. Microphones, cameras, flashing lights, they wanted answers. The mother kept silent. She smiled at her son, shielding him from their chaos. But silence made them hungrier. Rumors spread. Some said it was divine. Others whispered of secret technology. A few muttered darker words. Something unnatural, something dangerous. That night, as the boy slept peacefully for the first time in years, the mother sat by his bed. Her hands trembled as she remembered the humans' faces, their glowing eyes, their words about danger. She whispered to herself, Have I brought him back to life, or have I put him in greater danger? Her thoughts were broken by a sound, a soft knock at the window. She froze. Slowly, she turned. Outside the glass stood one of the humans, the same who had spoken to her in the underground chamber. His eyes glowed faintly in the darkness. He raised a finger to his lips, signaling silence. She opened the window cautiously, heart pounding. Why are you here? She whispered. The human's voice was calm but urgent. The world has noticed. They will not let this go. You must be careful. There are those who will not see this as hope. They will see it as a threat. Her chest tightened. What do? I cannot hide him forever. The human's gaze hardened. Teach him strength. Teach him courage. For one day he will not only walk, he will run. And when he runs, the world will chase him. Before she could answer, he was gone, vanishing into the shadows like smoke. The days that followed were both joy and fear. The boy grew stronger, each step steadier, each smile brighter. His laughter filled their small home, a sound the mother thought she would never hear again. But the whispers outside grew louder. Neighbors looked at them strangely. Strangers asked too many questions. news vans parked on corners waiting for a glimpse. One evening, as the boy played with his toys, the mother heard voices outside the door. Not reporters this time. Not neighbors. These voices were low, firm, official. We need to know what happened. No one simply walks after paralysis like that. Her blood ran cold. Government agents, scientists, hunters of the unknown. She held her son close, whispering, "Stay quiet, my love. Stay strong." The knocking on the door grew louder. The voices grew sharper. And in her heart, she realized this was only the beginning of another struggle. The knock on the door grew louder. 3 sharp bangs shook the quiet of the night. The mother's heart pounded as she pulled her son closer. His small hand gripped hers, trembling. "Mama, who is it?" he whispered. She forced a smile, though her voice shook. "Just stay with me, my love. Don't be afraid." Outside, men in dark suits waited. Their voices were firm, practiced. "We are here for questions. Please open the door." But the mother knew these were not men looking for answers. They were men looking for control. She felt it in their tone, in the way they spoke, like they already owned the truth. She did not open. Instead, she whispered to her son, "Quiet. We must wait." Minutes passed. The men grew impatient. One of them spoke again, his words sharp. "If you don't open, we will come in." Her body stiffened. Fear pressed on her chest. She remembered the warning of the humans. When he runs, the world will chase him. And now the chase had begun. The next day, she moved quickly. She packed what little she could carry, clothes, food, and the most important thing of all, the belief that her son must stay free. She told him softly, "We must go away for a while. Somewhere safe." The boy nodded bravely. His legs still trembled with every step, but his spirit burned with courage. "I can walk, Mama. I can go wherever you take me." They left before sunrise, slipping into the gray morning streets. But shadows followed. Black cars lingered at corners. Strange faces watched from windows. She felt the net tightening. The boy noticed too. "Why are they after us?" he asked. She knelt before him, holding his face gently. "Because you are special. Because they fear what they don't understand. But we will not let them take you." He nodded, his eyes full of trust. That trust gave her strength. By nightfall, they reached the edge of the city. Old warehouses lined the streets, abandoned and broken. She thought they could hide there, at least for a little while. But the men were faster than she expected. Black vehicles rolled silently into the empty district. Doors opened. Boots struck the ground. Voices echoed. "Spread out. They are here somewhere." The mother pulled her son into the shadows, pressing a finger to her lips. The boy clung to her, his breath shaky. For a moment, the world was silent. Then, flashlights cut through the dark. Heavy steps grew louder. The hunters were closing in. Her mind raced. She could not fight them. She could not outrun them. But she could protect him no matter the cost. She whispered, "When I say run, you run. Don't look back." His eyes widened. "But Mama, promise me," she said firmly, her voice breaking. "Promise you'll run." He nodded, though tears filled his eyes. The sound of boots stopped nearby. A beam of light swept across the floor, catching a glimpse of their faces. "There! Over here!" a man shouted. The mother stood quickly, blocking her son with her body. "Stay back," she cried. The men raised their hands, not in kindness, but in command. "We only want the boy. He's important. He belongs with us now." Her blood boiled. "He belongs to no one. He is my son." The boy clutched her arm tightly, his voice trembling but strong. "I'm not going with you." The men stepped closer. One reached for the boy. And then, the air changed. A hum vibrated through the warehouse. Lights flickered. Shadows bent unnaturally. From the far corner, shapes emerged, tall, glowing-eyed figures. The humans had returned. Their presence was overwhelming, their voices steady like steel. "We warned you," one said. "The world is not ready, and you," he pointed at the agents, "you have crossed the line." The men froze, fear flickering in their eyes. Their weapons felt useless against something they could not understand. Mother's knees weakened with relief. Her son whispered in awe, "They came back." The leader of the humans looked at the boy, his voice calm but heavy with meaning. "Your journey has just begun. But to walk freely, you must first survive the chains others will try to place on you." The boy swallowed, standing straighter despite his fear. "I will survive. I will walk. I will run." The human's eyes glowed brighter. "Then the world will see what humanity truly is." The agents began to retreat, their confidence broken. But the mother knew this was not the end. This was only the first battle of many. As she held her son close, she realized the truth. The miracle was not the final chapter. It was only the beginning of a war between fear and hope, and her son was at the heart of it.